Hey, hi everyone. My name is Deep Singh. I'm the founder of EffiFlo. I'm super excited to be here at Rock the Year, the Recruiting Growth Summit. Thank you, Benjamin, for giving me this opportunity to share some of our recent learnings on the kind of AI-powered toolings and systems we've been able to build, and the kind of impact they've had on the teams that we worked with. So in this session, I'm going to walk you through some of the AI-powered talent acquisition systems that we've built. Most recently, one of our clients was able to close 300K in placement fee using our system. And these are one of the most sophisticated systems, I would say, that we've recently built. They touch upon some very good platforms like Clay, Relevance AI, while leveraging the power of LLM models like Perplexity, OpenAI, and Claude. What I really like about these systems is they are A, very highly scalable. B, they have a very strong ROI in terms of, how quickly you can turn on and off these systems, and they can really grow with their business without disproportionately increasing your costs. And the best part, it can be customized to your specific industry, niche, talent acquisition needs. And gone are the days when you used to leverage one size fit all kind of softwares and tools, but with the advent of AI and the kind of workflows that you can build with platforms like Clay and Relevance, you can build very specific solutions for your own business use cases. All right, before diving in, would love to introduce myself. I'm a startup leader turned agency entrepreneur. Previously, I grew and scaled my recruitment business to 7 figures using AI and automation on BD talent acquisition side. And prior to that, I've had over a decade of experience working with startups and leadership roles across operations, growth, and customer experience. I've been using and building with Clay for over 2.5, 3 years now. And I would say with the no-code tools and automation, it's probably been good 5, 6 years that I've been working and building for different use cases using these tools. Build these growth systems for your specific use cases. Could be on the business development side, on internal tooling side, or talent acquisition side. And our expertise primarily lies on automating outbound recruiting or integrating it with your existing CRM, ATS, and building customizable solutions like Agentic workflows or voice agents. I think that's about it. Maybe now I can quickly run into some of the good things that we've built here and walk you through the workflow that has been able to drive the most value for our clients. All right, so now let's go deeper into the workflow that I've built, this agentic workflow. But before getting into the details here, maybe I can give you a quick demo on what to expect and how exactly give you a glimpse of the overall workflow here, right? So I'm just going to reduce my video size here. So what we're doing here is, and this is obviously for demo purposes, I have to build it for a new use case or a different use case. But say this is the job description we have. Superhuman is hiring, you're working with Superhuman and you're looking for AI machine learning software engineers for them. And from here, we have the job description. You have all the profiles that need to be evaluated, and I'll touch a bit more on that later in the session. But say this is the person now, and I haven't automated this. I am just doing this manually so that I can give you a demo here. But as soon as say this person is run, what exactly happens here is we have built in agentic workflow in Relevance AI, and this profile actually goes into this workflow here. You would see here the task is created. The AI is actually writing and starting to evaluate the candidate's profile against the job description here. So the first step it goes through is actually getting the LinkedIn profile details, and then the next one is doing company research, because for this particular role, so your Superhuman wanted, or are they looking for talent who comes from with prior experience working with startups, say Series A funded or more, ideally. And that is where this agent actually understands the requirements there and is doing a deep company research as well, looking at the companies this person has worked in, Um, the other requirement here was they preferably, there are certain companies in the same space. So if someone has worked in with those companies, you would probably want to give them some additional bonus points as well. So we are doing a good match against those list of companies that we have to see if the candidate has worked with those companies. And then we are gonna have all this go into our scoring model to evaluate how well does this particular candidate does based on the companies they worked with, based on their existing skills or whatever our interpretation is based on the LinkedIn profile. And then this goes back into our clay table. So you can see here now, this is the scoring model where the AI is actually gonna evaluate everything here. It's taking in the details that have been completed in the last few steps, and now it's going to evaluate how does this person compare or stack against the role that you're hiring for. Once this is completed, you would see the candidate Sridhar come in here, and there you go. You can see here the AI was able to determine that this candidate is probably not a good fit for this particular role, and you get all the reasons why this decision was taken by the AI agent. And there's a lot of good details that we get here from this overall workflow. And this all can be customizable to your use case. So for example, we get the reasoning overall here. I haven't really configured the GitHub assessment, but you can do that as well. We're getting a good summary of the candidate profile in terms of what are their strengths. We also have the scoring methodology come in here. So that's based on the scoring model we have defined. And then we have a good analytics around how exactly did the AI go about scoring this candidate on different parameters based on the scoring model we had defined. And a lot of this also feeds back into personalizing the messaging. So if this candidate was shortlisted, there's another agent that actually personalizes the copy, the outreach copy, and you're able to use that by connecting it to different sequencing platforms. So I'll show you here real quick. For example, this candidate here was earlier supposed to be 92%. So they got 92%, and it's a strong yes. So the first email that goes out to this person would be something like this, right? And this would be super hyper personalized based on their experience, the job description, and the evaluation of why we think this candidate is a good fit, right? So yeah, you can read through the copy here. It's the way I've built this AI to be writing these copies also in a very humanized touch, so that doesn't feel robotic. It feels very personal and is able to open up new conversations with the talent. This is again a follow-up email that would go after a couple of days. You can similarly have, you can define if you want to be taking the LinkedIn route first, then probably a LinkedIn message can also be generated here on similar lines. And you can, this one is I think more from if you're reaching out to the candidate after the email sequences have completed, right? So I hope that gives you a good sense of what is this system, what is this agent workflow what all it can accomplish. Now let me just walk you through what goes behind the scene, how the entire system is designed, so that you have a better understanding of all the good things, so that you have a better understanding of what does it look like to be building a system like this and how you can leverage it in your business. All right, so this is the overall system and what it looks like. Maybe I can reduce my video slightly more if that is possible. Okay, that's the best I think I can get here. So the way this works is we have all the requirements coming from the job description, AI, and this is inside clay table. So whatever you see in yellow here, the yellow boxes are all clay tables. The pink ones here is relevance AI. Orange border is sequencing tool, and this entire thing is the agentic workflow. So we start from here. We start with the job description and the recruiter notes. They are fed into the clay table. We use AI, OpenAI here to analyze the job description and also about the company that is hiring. All that feeds to the next steps, but also we have another clay table which is going to have your entire talent base. Now, how do we source talent for these roles is altogether probably it's going to take me another session to get to that, but you can use clay, you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Appify is there. You can use your existing talent pool inside your ATS CRM as well. And if you post it on multiple job boards, probably you can build an inbound led, outbound kind of a workflow as well here. So say all this talent is now, you can also use GitHub specifically in cases like these where you're looking for technical talent. So now say let's say that all that you have the entire talent base inside your clay table. What then happens is we've built Agentic workflow inside Relevance AI, which primarily has, I would say, 4 key tasks, right? That's how I would see it. So the first one is get the LinkedIn profile details of the candidate based on the LinkedIn URL. Then if there is any specific research on that is required on the kind of companies this candidate has worked with in the past, you want to understand, say, for example, your requirement is that they should have worked with Series A plus company. They should have worked with a company in X space, right? So whatever that may be, if it needs some sort of company research, you would need this tool wherein based on the companies this candidate has worked in, we can leverage Perplexity to actually get very thorough, detailed research done on the company and get that data back into our algo later on. Right. Similarly, if you have a requirement where you want to be matching it against a certain set of companies or certain set of schools or whatever list that you want to match a candidate against, if they've actually had any connection to do with that list, you can do that again inside Relevance. And that is where we've built this another tool, which is doing a vector search with basically looking up the database that you fed in and see if it actually matches with the companies that you were looking for. All this information then goes into a scoring algorithm or a profile classification kind of a tool inside Relevance again, where based on all the details from the LinkedIn, the company's research data point, and the output coming from matching with evergreen companies, we are able to evaluate this profile against the job description, see what that score comes out to be, and feed that back inside Clay, right? So we're essentially doing profile tagging. You can categorize as well the talent in this case. So for example, if it's a DevOps person or a full stack or a backend infrastructure, or they have experience in the crypto space, whatever those requirements would be, right? We're able to use AI to classify profile based on those requirements and also come up with a final score matching against the job description. Now from here, the profiles go back into our clay table and we see if they are qualified and if they are matching with the job description. Then we generate a personalized copy, and I like to use Claude latest 3.7 Sonnet model to actually write the copy, and I use it. I would say I use a tiered agent setup of sorts here just to ensure that the copy that is being generated, it doesn't look garbage. It doesn't sound like an AI. It sounds very much like a human who would have done very deep research on this person and is able to converse with this person like a human or you would have manually done, right? And again, this can be fine-tuned. It can be, trained to talk or communicate in your tone. All that is possible, right? So when this personalized copy is generated, you can use any outbound outreach sequencing tool here. Could be large growth machine, could be Lemlist, could be, if you're just looking for email, probably just Smart Lead or Instantly. And this personalized messaging then flows in here. And one key thing though I would call out here is you would also want to build something like a prioritization queue, because in most cases, LinkedIn becomes the rate limiting step because you can only do X number of actions in a week on LinkedIn. So it is important that the candidates that score higher, you're able to reach out to them sooner than later. If you don't have something like a prioritization queue here, you would probably, your entire outreach sequencing queue would have all the candidates in, and then you just don't have any control on whom you should be reaching out first. So it's important to build that in, and you can do this using make.com connected to Clay again. And yeah, that's about it. So all this flows into a system like this, which is more like this system here, for example, on Lagro, wherein we first see once the lead comes in from Clay, if they are qualified or shortlisted for the role and have a good score. Threshold score can be again fine-tuned and set by you. Once they're qualified, we can check if you're able to get their personal email. All this enrichment can happen inside Clay. You can use Waterfall inside Clay, and you can also use your own API keys with platforms like ContactOut or SalesQL. And if we do not have their validated email, we would move to the LinkedIn step, right? The one feature that I like in La Growth Machine is the fact that you can test or you can build workflows based on the condition that if you're already connected to someone or no, which can become a bit painful if you don't have that condition. You don't want to be reaching out to people you've already connected in the past and you have a whole good conversation with them earlier, and all of a sudden you appear to be a stranger to them through a new message, right? So this is where when I build this, I first check if they are existing contact. If they are not, then we send a connection request to them. If they are a contact, then I do nothing, but I take the data back inside Clay to monitor these profiles. And probably it's just a list of candidates that I know that, okay, I'm probably already connected to them. So I need to be reaching out to them manually or see what needs to be done there. For the ones that are not connected, we can send a message to them, see if the message gets accepted in X days. If it is not, then automatically the system sends the message again to them. And then you can also send a personalized voice message as the last step here. Now, if they have email, this entire workflow, we are first sending in the email, then we're waiting for 3 days. If there's no response, automatically another email sent out. I can show you. This is coming from the same copy that we had generated, and I think I'd shown you as well earlier. So this is a follow-up message, right? An interest in the principal AI role that I mentioned, your LLM drag experience, a perfect match for the remote position, would Thursday at 2 p.m. EST for a brief chat, right? Yeah, all in all to say that all these steps can be automated based on whatever conditions you like. That way, most of these sequencing tools are very powerful. You can define conditions, you can customize the messaging, and I like to use tools that are already connected to Clay so that I can have my whole bunch of personalization happening between Clay or coming to Clay, and then I can just pass it on here. This all can be fine tweaked to the way you have seen success in the past, so nothing crazy there. But let me go back to the drawing board here and just complete the last loop here. So yeah, once the sequencing, the workflow is completed, you have all the details going through the sequencing tool here. You can you can log activities in your CRM or inside Clay or wherever you would like. And this entire system can now actually run on its own day in, day out. It can run on all profiles within your system or the new profiles that you want to be targeting. And it's very powerful in the sense the volume of screening candidates that can be screened is, it's probably going to take a couple of full-time members on the team to be going through those volumes if it was not for AI. So let me walk you now through probably exact tools, the tools that I mentioned here, and show you how they all interact with each other inside the AI workflow here. All right, so it all starts from the Clay table. The fields that you see here in green, these are the ones that are input fields. So you can add the job description here. You can give a tag. The tag is very important and should be unique because this is what actually connects our different Clay tables. I've added the client's website domain here because we use AI to then analyze the client. What does the client do and all the good things so that we can personalize our messaging at a later stage using this. And you also have flexibility to add some recruiter notes here, right? Then we have the output webhook URL wherever you want to write the data. In this case, we are having the webhook from this table and some other probably some other customizable fields, and these can again be changed depending on your workflow. But in a nutshell, what is happening here is based on the job description and the company details and everything, we are using AI to actually evaluate and come up with a good list of, analysis on the job description. We are also extracting certain details where we would like this to be used in personalization as well. So for example, once we get all these things, you would see here that we have 3 personalizations coming through, and you can directly push this inside LinkedIn to push to LinkedIn as well for the shortlisted candidates. And it would read something like this, right? Like we are currently looking for. I mean, you can have the first personalization related to the candidate profile here, but then it would read, we're currently looking for principal AI engineer to join the company, revolutionizing email with AI powered productivity. The client name is anonymized because that's how we would operate without delving into the details of the client. This role is based in San Fran, US, or remote, whatever. And then what does the role focus on, right? The role focuses on shipping AI features that directly enhance user experience. Yeah. So this, multiple variants of this can be used in the personalization. So nothing great there, but yeah, I just like to break this with AI so that the information is available in very small digestible parts wherever we want to personalize the messaging and have more control on the copy. So once this is done, all these profiles now coming in, we're again linking the 2 tables. This is going to the relevance AI and agent, and let me show you what does the relevance AI agent look like. So this is the agent that we built, and the way this works is it leverages a whole bunch of different tools that you equip this agent with. So think of an agent where it would need very specific tools to perform certain action items, right? So you would need, in this case, an agent to do company research. You would need an agent to check if they can match with the evergreen companies that you wanted to match with, to give some bonus points and see if you find more stronger fit with their past experience. And then you need a scoring agent or a tool that can actually score their profile based on the job description and the recruiter notes. So write all those things here, very easy to, there's definitely some learning curve here with relevance, but once you can really build this, very pointed and tailored to your use case. So you'll have to just write the core instructions here on how you expect the entire workflow to run using different tools. Then what are the tools that you want to equip this with? So first I built these tools. You can also build these tools here itself if they don't exist. But I've given this agent these set of different 4 tools, and I'll walk you through them in a bit. But these are different 4 tools that I've given the agent to work with. The first one gets the LinkedIn profile. The second one does the company research. The third one is doing a match with the evergreen companies. And the last one is more around the scoring model, right? You can also add sub agents. In my particular use case here, technically, if I wanted something to run in a loop, I would have just added an agent. But simpler use cases can also be accomplished by using these tools here itself. You can name the task, and all these things are, they're pretty self-explanatory. So guide for using the agent, you want to write the instructions that serves as a guide whenever a new task is used, or how the agent should actually be going about the overall workflow. You can write a welcome message again for each, whenever a new task is created, that's the message the agent will be reading, and default prompts and so on and so forth. So moving from here to the tools relevance, you can also enrich those profiles. So once you go in here, we just define whatever the inputs are. So we're using LinkedIn URL. It's able to fetch the LinkedIn profile without using your cookies. And then I like to give it the date so that it can actually calculate experience based on today's date. Most of the LLMs have their training date, have a cutoff training date. So you want to be giving them the right context whenever you want them to calculate from today. So that is what we get there. And then I'm just using another code to just extract the companies a person has worked at, right? And all this then comes, the output here is configured, it goes back to the AI agent. And then we have the company research tool. So the company research tool, I like to use Perplexity here because Perplexity is very powerful in terms of doing very structured research on with real-time access to the internet. So all these details are coming in from the previous tool, and then it goes into feeds into this particular LLM here, right? This is the prompt that I've given it, given the LLM, and we're using Perplexity here. So just to show you how this works is, for example, we have some work, some placeholder values. So you can see here, it's just doing basic, with the inputs you have in here, the company name and everything that is coming from the profile, it's able to actually do a research on EffiFlo here. This is coming from Perplexity. It says it's early stage, bootstrapped, 1 to 10 employees, AI ML data company, and whatever tagging by industry type it had to do, right? So all this information on the different companies that a person has worked in would go back to the agent that we just saw earlier, and then you have the evergreen companies. So the good thing here is once you have a shortlisted candidate, you again have all these different data points about the candidate, and you use it in personalizing your messaging. And that is where I again use another tool to personalize my messaging. It's to write humanized copies, and from here then it goes to, for all the shortlisted candidates, this entire workflow actually goes to La Growth Machine campaign here, right? So yeah, that's in a nutshell about the entire workflow. My thinking is the way these systems actually work. If you are able to craft them and put them to the right use, they can be incredibly powerful, help you save, hundreds of hours probably in a month, and you can keep fine tuning it as well. Now, I always tell my clients, you shouldn't be just relying solely on these automation tools and systems. These systems will end up becoming as smart as you are able to monitor them and the kind of input and feedback you are pushing to these tools. Without your inputs, without your insights, without you monitoring them, everything would be all over the place. So it definitely needs a lot of strong monitoring on how is it working at each step, and keep tweaking around the workflows. And then finally you have a system that can really work for you. All you would need to do is probably spend a couple of minutes in monitoring everything, and they're good to go, right? So always, my suggestion is always get more involved in these workflows, get more involved in understanding the kind of outputs that you're getting from these workflows, and see where does that opportunity lie to tweak it, retweak it, and get to the better next stage. I think that's about it from my side. Maybe I can quickly walk through some of the impact we've had with building some of these systems here. This is just a slide on some of the results we have had for our clients in the past building outbound recruiting systems. So again, very strong reply rates, very strong open rates. Some of the tools that we work with, leverage, build, design for our clients. And yeah, there's a lot of tools, but again, if you know which tool is good for what purpose, there's definitely some learning curve with each tool. But as you learn through the journey, it's definitely very rewarding because you exactly know which one to use when and to get to the right results. So yeah, that's about it. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. More than happy to answer, more than happy to share anything that you find value in or think I could be of help of. Hope this was helpful, and hope you're able to implement and build some of these systems and work with some of these good AI tooling and workflows to achieve some great results for your business. Thank you. Have a good one.